Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. The Silverchair Universe presents RedLink and Remarq. My name is Stephanie Lovegrove. I'm the marketing manager here at Silverchair. We're excited to have you with us today to learn more about RedLink and their offerings. We have with us Kent Anderson, the CEO of RedLink, who will be taking us through their products. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping things. You've all been muted. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat box, and we will have some time for Q&A at the end of the webinar. It is being recorded, so we will send the link to you afterwards if you'd like to share that with anyone. And finally, after the webinar is over, we will send you a brief survey. We're just looking for feedback, any questions you have, happy to get those answered, things that occur to you after the webinar is over. All right, so now, without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Kent.
Great. Thanks, Stephanie. Hi, everybody, and happy Valentine's Day. Hope everybody gets more chocolate than they should eat. It's always better. So I'm going to take you through RedLink's offerings and tell you a little bit about us and give you some demos. So we'll try to keep it interesting and informative. So our slogan is "See what you're missing." RedLink is a company that believes that data really only matter when they're put to good use. And so we try to help publishers, institutions, and end users basically make better decisions and interact more constructively around data-enabled services. So we're an independent startup. We're a company that has offerings on all sides of the market. We offer solutions to libraries and institutions, to end users, and to publishers. And again, our goal is to help people see what they're missing by making useful data-related products. We try to make them very practical, high-yield experiences, and not a lot of bells and whistles, but just the kinds of things that you need to accomplish your daily work. So some of the things I'll talk about today are Publisher Dashboard, SiteLeads, RedLink Network, and Remarq. So currently we have more than 45 publishers, a number of whom are on the Silverchair platform. And we're adding more all the time. Our services are becoming well known. Sales agents use them a lot, especially internationally, and they are big advocates of the kind of access that I'll show you to data so they can help sell. So first I'm going to talk about one of our free services called RedLink Network. And what this is a collaboration space for publishers and institutions so that they can more effectively keep access credentials and usage data in sync. And this is a free service that we offer. It's redlinknetwork.org-network.org. You can sign up, and it allows you to exchange IP address changes and updates with institutions so that everything's kept in apple pie order. Shibboleth link resolvers and counter reports as well. Supports individual institutions and consortia. We have more than 500 institutions actively using it now, and that's growing quickly. We have a number of platform integrations coming up in the second quarter of this year that will drive activity even further. And then there are premium features that allow publishers to store their counter reports independently, which reduces platform dependence, and a dedicated sushi service that we're launching soon so that platforms can optimize their content delivery resources and not have to have the overhead of delivering sushi, which is often constrained because it's competing with content delivery. So just to give you a quick overview, it's a connection service, so that both sides of the transaction have to accept that they're connected. So there can be outgoing requests, incoming requests from publishers to institutions and vice versa. Then once it's both sides have acknowledged the connection, then it's an active connection, and then whether the counter reports are available and credentials and all of that's marked in the system as well. There are overlays that pop up, normal, really nice interface, very smooth. And we keep people up to date so that they can see if they've sent IP changes or other access credential changes. They can see what the uptake is. They can remind people. They can download usage reports in a custom way, things like this. So very useful, practical, data-driven, and data-enabled services. So to focus on the commercial offerings that we have, we have a sort of a 3-layer stack for publishers where you can focus on the data around your current customers. You can focus on data emanating from customers you don't have, which are new prospects. And you can focus on your community. How are they interacting? How are they interacting with your content? So Publisher Dashboard focuses on current customers. SiteLeads focuses on customers you don't have that are generating demand around your content and helps you identify them. And then Remarq is an insight into how your community is behaving around your content. And I'll take you through each one of these. So first we'll start with Publisher Dashboard. And this is basically a way for you to see how you're performing with your subscribers. So it puts usage data in a business intelligence framework. So that helps you and your sales team and your management team identify opportunities and risks. It gives the sales team 24/7 access, including sales agents. So what you can do is tell us, which agents deal with which accounts or with which territories, and then those agents will have access to the data for those accounts. There's no need for them to file a request with IT or email you for some sort of report. They can go in and get those reports themselves any time of the day or night. And every company's dream is to make money while they're asleep. And so this is a good way to help that happen. You can see trends and denials, full text usage, and across your portfolio. Consortia usage at the top level and then within the consortia. Usage trends by discipline, by publication date, and by title. Has an intuitive interface. It has fantastic response time. And then it's easy to share the visualization, so you can download the charts and graphics, email those to customers, put them in PowerPoint presentations, or just grab the underlying data. So I'm going to take you into a quick demo of this. So this is a demo environment. If this were an actual installation, the customer numbers would be replaced with names. So you would see, exactly, and a lot of people would have a lot of facility with those names. They would immediately jump out as, oh, that's them. This is one thing that a demo environment doesn't allow us to show, but you just have to imagine that you'd have that kind of resonant feeling as you look at it. So these are scrambled data, but it'll give you a good idea. We focus your attention on a few things that we think are key. Where are denials or turnaways increasing? Where are subscriptions expiring? Or where is usage decreasing? And we give you the past few weeks and trends there. And then you can drill down at any particular time, any particular point to see all of those. Then we focus this wheel on denials, but you can change that to full text. You can change it to abstracts, pay-per-views, or sessions. And then below that, we have a dashboard area where you can have two slots if you're a manager or an executive, where you can pin visualizations that you think are important for everyone to see and you want them to focus on. And then below that, every user has basically an unlimited palette where they can save reports here, but they present themselves and update automatically in a graphical manner. So you can always come back here and you can just say, oh, this has now gone up, or this has now gone down. It will be live, and then you can always just click on it and go directly to it. So let's go into customer 7D16. And here you can see the usage data, full text usage for all the journals for this customer that they subscribe to. This is a consortia. You can tell because of the C here, and then you can see all of the customers underneath that, all of the libraries within that consortia. You can look at usage year on year. You can change the date range. You can click on and off values. Anytime you want to save an image, you can click on the export arrow, and you can download it as a PNG, JPEG, PDF, or the underlying data. You can look at the usage distribution. This would show you where the usage in this consortia is hitting your products. So these would be actual product names, journal names that you have, or books, whatever the case may be. You can change it, journals or books. Again, you can change the metric. So this would be denials. If you wanted to see which members of the consortium are consuming most of the content, you can do that by clustering the members. You can look at usage by year of publication. So how much usage is coming from content that's less than 1 year old, between 1 and 5, and more than 5 years old. Again, you can eliminate pieces as you wish. And you can also have custom content slices, so that if you have particular rules about your archive or cut points in your content, maybe you acquired some additional content and brought it in, you want to see if things changed, or you sell particular bundles or packages, you can do that, and you can change those content slices with our tool. And you can make any particular date rolling as well, so if you have a rolling 10-year window, you can do that. You can look at the revenue projections, and you can also look at journals cost, cost per download, books cost per download, or overall subscription cost. We don't have any financial data in here, but you get the idea, for the current year at least. And then the business intelligence side, you can basically generate any report you want using these facets down the left-hand side. So let's say you wanted to see year over year, quarter, you wanted to see full text usage, all your journals in the United States, and you wanted to sort that by full text. There's your report. So if you wanted to save that, you would just click the pin, and that would pin it to your front dashboard. You can also sort this by, if you wanted to eliminate that and take it back to the full list, you can do that. You could sort it by sales rep and see how their products are doing. You can also get an overview of your entire portfolio graphically. So let's say you wanted to see where full text was up, down, or in between. Let's say you were worried about where full text is down among the top half of your customers, and for journals only, and let's say in the United States only. So I've got 10% down for 120 customers. You click on that, and these would all be customer names, and you would be able to sort those, and then you could drill down into any particular one of those. And again, do any of the functions that I showed you earlier. And you can see who the rep is, all of those things. This leads feature, I'll show you, that's SiteLeads, but it's integrated in the publisher dashboard. I'll show you that. You can manage your team. This is a bit of a mess because it's a demo environment, but if you wanted to add a new user, a name, an email, a role, and whether they have access to SiteLeads or not, which I will talk about. Active publications, customer management, our search function, you basically start entering the name and it starts to fill in. We only have numbers here, so I can't show you that. But that's a good overview of Publisher Dashboard. And be happy to take any questions at any point. And we'll go back to the deck. So Publisher Dashboard helps you see trends among your current customers and answer questions and support them through the renewal process. You can also upsell them to the archive using the content slices and identify demand there. SiteLeads helps you identify demand from customers that you don't have. And the way it does this is we put a single line of JavaScript on your site and then use the data that we get from that to identify unmet demand. So what SiteLeads does is it basically understands what a turnaway is and what an abstract view is for your site. And then because it's integrated with Publisher Dashboard, we know the customers you have, so we find the IP addresses and resolve those to customers that you don't have. Add it all up, tell you how big the opportunity is, who the customer is, and how to contact them. And then we give you the tools to share those insights with the libraries or corporations making the purchasing decisions. And we think about this in that publishers and institutions, corporations, libraries actually are should be on the same page here, because they when you have demand that's not being met, that's an end user problem that the library and the publisher are in the best position to solve. So we try to think about it in that way. So there are a couple of components to SiteLeads. One is what we call the leads map or the opportunity map. And this shows you strategically where your unmet demand is coming from. A lot of it is in markets that you might think are mature, but we're finding that there are hidden gems there, or perhaps institutions that wouldn't buy because there wasn't any documented demand, or you didn't think of because you couldn't identify the demand. So we tell you how many leads there are, what the projected revenue is, and then there's a list. And the way that the business model works for SiteLeads is you buy the underlying subscription, and that gives you the map and the list and 10 what we call unlocks. Those are leads that you can unlock included, and then you can buy additional unlocks on top of that. We did that to minimize the investment on the front end for publishers, and also because we think our leads are good enough that you'll continue to use them, you'll have success. So we list the leads using animal names because those are more memorable, we found through testing, than numbers or anything else. You can also down the side sort them by country. So if you're looking for particular leads to support a rep in the UK or France or Asia, you can do that. Then you can see at top line how many denials and abstracts we've recorded. Let's say you wanted to see more about that. You can preview it in a number of ways before you open or unlock a lead. So you could open Anonymous Porpoise and preview this before you unlock it, and you would see what we have as what we call the zone of projection. It's like the hurricane zone of uncertainty, right? So we think the usage is going to fall within the blue range here. We bound that with current customers that you have, and we know that because of Publisher Dashboard. So you can get a sense of where this customer might fit in the context of your business. And then you can also look at the revenue potential. So we know it. We were able to calculate what your overall cost per download generally is. Then you can use the slider to have different scenarios, and we'll sort that customer within your customer portfolio so you have a clearer picture again of what the potential of this customer is. So this looks like a pretty good one. So I'll unlock it, and you click on unlock, and you find out who it is. You see all the data that we've gathered. You can sort it by date. You can see which products in your portfolio are leading, generating the demand. So you know which one to lead with. Maybe you want to talk to a particular specialist librarian or purchasing person about whether it's the School of Engineering or the business school. And then we keep track of your past leads, your active leads, and you're good to go. And we keep updating the data. So the way this works, as I mentioned, it's bundled with Publisher Dashboard, or it's an add-on to Publisher Dashboard. It's an annual subscription, includes the full list and the map, and then 10 leads on top of that are bundled in, and then you can purchase an additional 10 leads. You can buy them a la carte, that's more expensive, and then we have a new option, which is sort of like a Blue Apron kind of thing, where we'll deliver you a new lead every week or month. We found that one thing is people might forget to go check leads. It's hard to integrate it into your workflow, so we think delivering them might help. So that's a new option we're adding this year. We also collaborate with you to identify, understand sort of what your strategic goals are so that we can tailor your leads to fit those. Maybe you're trying to grow in South America, you're trying to grow in Asia, you're trying to grow in Europe, or you're particularly focused on one part of your portfolio. We'll take that information in and customize SiteLeads as much as we can to help support your strategies. So early feedback on this has been quite positive. When we first, there was a journey from theory to practice, and we had all the technology arrayed and generating all the data, and we thought, well, let's see if the leads are any good. So we opened one up for the first customer with them on the phone, and that was the acid test, and the first word back was wow. And the story was, it was a customer they'd been approaching for years. They never could document any demand, and now they could. So they were going to go right back to them. The next one we opened was another wow, and they said that's someone we'd actually talked ourselves out of because we couldn't document any demand, so we never approached them. Now we're going to. The third one was more of a and we asked what that meant, and they said that makes total sense. I don't know why we never thought of it. So they've opened, I think, 74 leads since then. So SiteLeads may be a game changer for us. Every lead we've opened has been appropriate for our business, and the data that SiteLeads provides will help us start the sales conversation with clear evidence of demand. We're very impressed. So that's SiteLeads to help you find new customers. And then to understand your community, we'll talk a little bit about Remarq. So Remarq is a simple way to increase engagement around your content, which helps, with your current customer base and also bringing new customers in. So we'll talk a little bit about this. So one of the big challenges for scholarly publishers, and all publishers really, but for us in particular, is when we moved to the internet, we thought, well, we'll just move people to the version of record. Everything will be fine. We'll put some HTML and PDF versions of the article out there, and we're good to go. Some very clever people then said, oh, those PDFs, they have a portable aspect to them, so we're going to portabilize them into our own little spaces, and we'll divert your traffic to us. That's a problem. So how do you deal with that? Well, there are a lot of different ways, and all of them are, valid in their own milieu. So you can try to take legal action. That works to an extent. You can try to have make it easier for people to log in. Our approach is make it so that the version of record is actually more unique and not as much of a commodity and more useful to people than those others. So with Remarq, we make it so that authors, editors, core readers, and members can actually work in the article and collaborate around the version of record. So bring them back home and don't give them a reason to leave, is our thinking. So you'll never stop piracy, as Steve Jobs said. What you have to do is compete with it. And then recently, with the increasing popularity of the subscription model, now that we're seeing the failure of advertising models to really generate content with integrity, we're seeing this real call for engagement. When you create a subscription business model, the new editor of Wired said, your incentives change significantly. You're trying to build a really deep relationship with your reader. And we think Remarq helps publishers and editors and authors do that. So we have been in pilot for about 6 months. We ended the 6-month pilot back in December. And we went and looked at the numbers. And what we found is that we do deliver users, sessions, and traffic. So users of Remarq returned for 3 to 4 times more sessions and looked at twice as many articles. Publishers that had Remarq on their sites, whether it was across the whole portfolio or part of their portfolio, users spent 27% more time. The bounce rate was 10% lower, both for new and returning users, and readers were consuming 7 to 14% more articles, so they're reading more expansively across the content. Journals were attracting 3 times as many unique users based on sessions, and users were 36 to 64% more likely to return on any particular day. So the journal was more top of mind. They were more likely to come back because they left themselves a note, or they had a conversation, or someone shared an article with them. One of the most interesting findings was that users shifted their behavior, spent less time on abstracts and more time on the full text, which is completely logical when you give them something that makes the full text more useful. But it was not a finding I thought we would see, but we did, and it makes total sense now that I think about it. So that's the beauty of data. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, I should have thought of that. So Remarq simplifies the collaboration experience. It makes it elegant and intuitive. It does this by giving people a single user profile across sites and platforms. So it's platform independent and site independent. It works the same almost anywhere you go. I'll show you that. Users can follow each other, and the social aspect of this has turned out to be bigger than we thought it was going to be. Users get robust profile pages. They can sign in with Orchid and pre-populate their pages nicely, so we don't require them to have another username and password. We have LinkedIn, Google, Orchid, options. Then they can also create a login if they wish. HTML and PDF comments and notes, and also EPUB all work seamlessly across the formats. Article sharing is through links, so it's publisher approved. It keeps your calendar statistics, helps actually restore them to a normal level. Editorial and author updates, so that if an author's giving a talk or an editor wants to mention a follow-on article, they can do that. And I'll show you some of the clever ways that we've built this in. And then analytics and administrative tools, so you can understand with analytics that you're not used to seeing how users are engaging with your content. And we're going to be pushing that later this year into an even deeper level. 3 levels of engagement, because each user has a different relationship with content at any particular point. So you can have a private engagement, leave yourself a note, highlight some text, semi-public, take a poll, follow an article, or public, leave a comment. If you're the author, leave an update, or participate in groups that are private, protected, or public. Article sharing, as I said, is via links, so we don't bleed any traffic from your sites, and we actually think this will help restore it. And then let me just give you a live demonstration. We're currently on more than 60 journals, with more coming soon. When you do take up Remarq, we provide marketing support and collateral. The conversion rate of traffic to user remains high, in the single-digit percentages, but that's pretty good. So it tends to market itself because of its presence on the pages, and popular features are being beefed up, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So we're on a number of journals. This is on genetics, which is a high-wire journal. So you can see here's a note that I left myself. You can see here's the status bar for Remarq. This is under the abstract. This can be above or below the abstract. You can discuss the article, follow the article, share the article. We call that circulate. Leave a note or a comment at the article level. If you highlight text, you can leave a highlight, comment, or discuss it in a group. Anytime you do something that requires more information, the sidebar opens. So you can share an article. You just type in an email address and someone will get an email. Users have a robust profile. You can see people you're following, articles that you're following, a live feed of activity, your own profile with your information, your career, your publications. All the publication claims we double check, even if they come from ORCID, because that's an important step. When someone's validated as an author, they can offer an author update. Usually it's moderated by the journal, but still, we are careful with that. You have updates, comments, notes, groups that you can participate in. You have private groups, which no one can discover. Only people who know about those are the people in them. You have protected groups, which people can ask to enter, and the moderator has to approve. Within a group, you have text highlights that will take you back to the original article, so you can see what they were talking about. And people can have discussions here. Your activity, all of your comments and notes across your experience. This is a very user-centric product. You can search for people. See their profiles. Check out their ORCID. And if you don't see the person, you can invite them. You just add an email address and you can invite them into Remarq. So this is Remarq on annual reviews. One other thing that you'll note is that there is when we click on PDF, and this is a very contextual service, so there's an option to see a Remarq PDF or the standard PDF. If you open the Remarq PDF, you'll get this Remarq reader, which has the follow, circulate, notes, all of that. But here you can see the highlight from the HTML. And if I come in here, and I'll put in a highlight here. So now when I go back to the HTML, you'll see that highlight here. And they're all over here. The same with annual reviews, PDF placement. You can see here the little widget appears when needed down the left-hand side. I have the same profile, the same feed. And then we also have a plugin called Remarq Lite, and you'll notice a 1 just appeared here. That's because someone just requested to join a group. So even when you aren't in Remarq, if you have the plugin, this will keep you notified if things are going on in Remarq that deserve your attention. But if you activate Remarq Lite, and now I'm on the Washington Post, you see a version of the queue show up there. Same profile. I have the alert now. I'll deal with that later. But this helps with the educational use case for Remarq. So even if the publication that has it, or that the person's on, doesn't have Remarq, they can highlight some text and do a few of the core functions. But then when they come back to one that has Remarq, there's the same alert. They get all the full functionality, and the publisher gets the benefit of the analytics. So we'll talk a little bit more about that and some of the advanced features. So we're introducing next month in April, post-publication review, so that editors, if they wish, they can customize a post-publication review form that can be kind of a mix of survey questions and review questions. Maybe if you want some reader feedback. So the way this will work in the sidebar is there will be a reviews tab activated if the journal chooses to pursue this. We list the article details so that those are always there. And then you can identify which categories you want to have scored. We're going to make these scores a little more intuitive than a numerical 1 to 5, because maybe 1's good and maybe 5's bad. So we're going to make that clearer. But you can write, score it and then write a comment underneath it. Customizable categories, room for comments below that. And then as users scroll up, we keep the article details in place. And they can also, if other people have contributed to the review, they can identify those as well. And again, comment below each rating. We're also going to be making a version of this available so marketing teams can use it if they want to, and it would, instead of reviews, it would read survey. So you can have an article level, issue level, or publication level survey via Remarq as well. And if you're interested in that, we can talk about how that could be promoted. We have shareable links and the ability to put a hover that pops up out here if you wish. It's easy to start with Remarq. The same JavaScript that enables SiteLeads, we can enable Remarq through. So it's a single line of JavaScript, no libraries, no complexity. It lives on your site, and there are no plugins required. Users can use it right away. So we think that it engages, we found it engages editors, authors, students, and researchers. So there are other special tools for authors and editors. Editors can invite contextually experts to comment on articles. So if someone has an editor role in the system, they go into a comment bar in an article, they'll see this invite option. They would click on invite, email somebody, add a note, and say, I'd like you to comment on this article. When they accept that, they would collaborate with the editor on what they would put there. And once they're both satisfied, and this all happens in the Remarq administrative area, once they're satisfied, the editor would publish it and it would become a pinned comment there. Authors and editors can update their articles, and authors and editors can claim their papers via Remarq. The administrative tools allow moderators to view statistics, so how many private notes, highlights, updates, comments, users, authors, and how many papers they've claimed. Preferences, like you can set your curation policy, author update approval policy, invited comment approval policy, add authors. We do have the ability to, every time there's a publication event, to invite the corresponding author automatically to join Remarq and participate. add or manage moderators and editors. You can add editors at a publication level, moderators at a publication level, approve or delete comments, review comments, and then a special zone for editors where they can see their own statistics, author updates, number of authors. They can approve or collaborate on author updates. And then the pinned comments, as I mentioned, invite and manage expert commentary and collaborate with the commentators, and then push those to the top of comment threads. Groups, public, private, or protected. Users can discuss articles, particular sections of articles. Publishers are the only ones who can create protected groups. So this is a way to invite your readers to interact more with an expert or on a particular topic. Maybe it's a journal club, maybe there's a meeting coming up, you want to have a protected group to talk about an emerging topic. Use it to maybe discuss, is this a possible new title or a book? And then, as I mentioned, Remarq Lite is a free browser plugin geared to the education market, and we're already seeing nice uptake with that. And this allows students and others to bring other things into the discussion, into the scholarly record, ties everything out, but it also, down the road, will be adding analytics from Remarq Lite so you can see where your content's being used beyond. So in classrooms, in particular groups, all with keeping privacy, but letting you know in this group, this content was used at this school. So with Remarq, we think, we're happy with all the praise we're getting and the uptake that we're getting, and it's an exciting product that helps publishers increase engagement, and then we help you measure it with our other products and measure demand and take advantage of the demand that you're generating with this increased engagement. So with that, I will turn it back over to Silverchair, and happy to take any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was a great update on everything. I know we sat in on the webinar right after Remarq came out, and it's great to see all the numbers and how much they support the mission. It looks like it's doing really great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks.
Don't have any questions yet. If anyone has any that they would like to put in the chat box, please do so now. Definitely hit a lot of points in there. So, and it's great you have the demo sites for everything too. That's really nice to see everything. The SiteLeads thing is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. I mean, we're not a a lot of innovation happens at the product level. You'll see this a company as a product, and I think what's it's hard to present everything we do in a way, because we have a lot of products that that help businesses from a lot of different angles, but they all fit together. We're really trying to increase engagement and help everybody measure that, whether it's understanding where there's demand that you haven't satisfied, whether it's how you better satisfy the users that you have, or how do you keep your users stuck to the content, how do you engage them more deeply, how do you keep them coming back more often. It all really makes sense, even though it can seem a little overwhelming when you do a deep dive on it all. Sure.
Yeah, we'll just give it another minute here. Not seeing any questions coming in. And of course, if you have questions later, feel free to reach out to Kent directly or to us, and we're happy to get you some answers. In the meantime, I guess we'll just say thank you for joining us. Reach out to your PDM or Kent if you would like to talk about integrations or anything like that. I would appreciate if you fill out the survey that you'll get after this webinar concludes. In the meantime, have a great day, and I hope to see you on a future webinar.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.